How many days, months, if not even years, have you spent worrying about things out of your control? It's not a productive use of your time, and you could be spending that time doing stuff which is so much more productive and will get you to your goals. Welcome to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. This is a podcast that empowers you to become the best version of yourself by giving you easy to implement techniques so you can start taking back that control of your life that you have been missing. If you get something from this episode, please share it with someone who you think would benefit. And I would also really appreciate it if you could give me just a rating or review. I'm Sanj, and today we're going to be talking about the difference between what you can control versus what you actually influence, and why worrying about this is not going to change anything in your life. When we're talking about something that you can control, it's referring to the fact that you have power to direct or manage something according to what you want. But when you have the power to influence something, you actually don't have the power to direct or manage it. In fact, you only have the ability to affect something or change something indirectly. So when you break it down, what it means is control relates to things that you have direct authority over, but influence is about situations where you may be able to sway the outcomes, but you actually don't have the final say and you don't have full control. When you understand this distinction between the two, it actually helps recognize where you can focus your energy and efforts and where it will be most effective. You may not always have control over your external circumstances, but you can still exert some influence, some positivity. You can just try and sway them to steer them in a direction that is positive, that may benefit you, that may benefit others, that may actually lead to an overall win-win situation. So you need to understand what the difference is, because if you're worrying about these things, you need to make sure that you're worrying about the one that you can change things. If you cannot change things, if you are not the indirect control, then maybe you need to think about what you can do to actually be more productive and more efficient with your time. We as humans, it's actually natural for us to seek to control. And when we are out of control, it actually means that we feel stressed. How many times have you been in a situation where you just feel that stress and pressure rising and rising? And the reason that is because you are not in control. When you are in control, what that does is it provides you with a sense of security. It provides you with a sense of predictability. And that is comfort in this unpredictable world. You crave stability, you crave certainty, and so by controlling your environment, it can give you that false sense of control over your life. But in reality, there are many aspects which are beyond our control. There are many aspects which you have no influence over, and this can lead you to just frustration. It can lead you to anxiety and stress, because when you cannot manipulate things to your liking, when you encounter situations that you cannot control, what you end up doing is you may resist accepting that uncertainty and struggle to change, because you don't want things to change. You want things to stay the way they are, where it's comfortable, where it's safe, where you feel at home. The problem is, though, is the world is always changing, and so you either have a choice. You can either move forward, stay green and growing, or you can just stay behind, stay where you are, and just root yourself, wishing things would go back to the old way. And so you need to actually control and influence the situations in a more positive way. If you have direct control, that's fantastic. If you have influence, it's great, it's good, because then you at least have some kind of control over it, and that will help you feel better. But it's where then you have no control. That's not worth worrying about. That's not worth spending your time on. In fact, it's actually counterproductive, because what you're doing is you're worrying about something that you don't have a single ounce of control over. You're worrying about something that you can't change. You're worrying about something that is not in your sphere of influence. So what you need to start doing is actually think to yourself in every situation, do you have control of it? Do you have actually an indirect control? Are you able to actually influence the outcome? If you are, then focus your efforts on it. If you're not, then accept it for what it is and let it be. So if you want to actually start to change your life, if you want to start making these huge momentous changes that lead you to the life of luxury, to the life you desire, to the life that you have been dreaming of, first thing you can do is focus on what you can control. Instead of fixating and getting worried about things outside of your control, make sure you shift your attention to the things you can control. In every situation, you can control things like your thoughts, your actions, and your responses. When you start focusing on the current moment and start actually taking proactive steps to manage your own behavior, what you can do is you can cultivate a greater sense of empowerment, a greater sense of resilience, a greater sense of self-belief. So when you start focusing on what you can control and you see those things change around you, when you see those things changing and coming into line with what you want them to, that's when you're going to start to build that self-confidence. That's when you're going to start making those changes. That's when you're going to start living the life that you know you are capable of. The second thing you need to do when you know that there's something that you can control or influence, or even if there isn't and you have no control or influence over the situation, practice acceptance. As I said, when you learn to accept the things you cannot change, acceptance is not a bad thing. It doesn't mean that you resign to it or you're passive about it. What it means is you're actually acknowledging reality as it is. You're not putting a bias on it. You're accepting it for what it is, and you're choosing to respond with grace. You're choosing to respond with respect, with kindness. So when you actually start to practice acceptance, it makes so much difference. When you will start to feel lighter on yourself, you'll start to feel happier with yourself. Because when you're not accepting, when you are actually trying to resist any change, you're actually causing yourself stress, you're causing yourself harm, you're causing yourself just unnecessary suffering, because suffering is in direct proportion to how much you wish something wasn't as it is. The next one is, if you want to actually move things in a positive way, harness your power of influence. Recognize that even when you can't fully control a situation, you still have some power to influence. You can do this by using things like your voice, your actions, and your relationships. And that can inspire positive challenges. It can make a difference in the world. So when you start to do that, if you want to start influencing and you want to start changing the things around you that you don't have control over, but you have some form of influence, what you need to do is you need to start building up your meaningful connections. You need to start leading by example. You need to be an advocate for those causes that align with your values. As I said, mastering the difference between what you can control and what you can influence is essential in your life. It cultivates a resilient and empowered mindset. So when you can focus on what you can control and you practice acceptance as well as harnessing the power of influence, you can actually navigate all of life's uncertainties with ease and with confidence. You can build up your self-belief. You can build up that self-worth and see how much difference it makes to your life. What you need to start doing is you need to think, where are you now? Where do you want to be? And see what you can do to get there. Remember, your mindset shapes your reality. When you master it, you'll master your life. My mission at the end of the day is to make a positive impact on the world. And I sincerely hope that you can help me do that by liking, by following, or by sharing this podcast with others. So until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep mastering your mindset so you can master your life. Thank you.